All right, what's going on, everyone? I just watched the new episode of Peacemaker because season two just started, and I honestly forgot like when it started. I was just kind of sitting here, and I was like, "Man, I don't know what to do or like what to watch." And then I saw a reaction for the new episode dropped on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, that's right." So I went ahead and watched it. I enjoy what James Gunn's doing with the DC so far. I enjoyed Superman. I didn't think it was like amazing or anything, but I thought it was a good start for the DCU. I really enjoyed Creature Commandos for what it was. Peacemaker is a lot more like Creature Commandos than like Superman, of course, because it's hard R, and I thought it was funny the caption, or not the caption, the rating for the show. Like when it starts, it says like TVMA and it says smoking, and then like there's a whole ass orgy that lasts like 5 minutes, like in the middle of the episode, like when he's like snorting cocaine. Like it's just like a whole ass orgy with just people naked and jerking off and fucking and stuff. So I thought that was kind of misleading. It's like, oh, TVMA, smoking, okay, and then there's just a bunch of titties and dicks in your face. So I thought that was funny. Basically, it was interesting the way they handled they do the previously on, and basically everything from the first season is pretty much canon. There are some lines that are changed. Like I think there's one line where Adebayo in the first season she's like, "Can't you call the Justice League?" But they did ADR, and now it says, "Can't you call the Justice Gang?" So it's like when James Gunn was like, "Yeah, in the new season of Peacemaker, it'll make sense. Like we'll explain how the new canon works." Even at the end of the previously on, instead of Aquaman and the Flash being there, it's all the Justice Gang people. So I thought it was a pretty just interesting and just kind of quick way to just do that. Be like, "Yep, so this is the new universe, and this is what we're doing." And so yeah, it's a continuation of the first season where they take on the butterflies and basically stop the alien invasion. But none of them can really get any jobs. Adebayo, who is Waller's daughter, who also like leaked some sensitive files to the press, and so she's in hot water. I mean, they all are. Hardcore is interviewing at like every government agency that you can think of, and she can't get a job anywhere. She's got a lot of built up aggression. Her therapist or someone was like, "You have toxic masculinity," and it was just funny because at first you're like, "What?" And he's like, "You don't express your feelings. You hold in all your rage and you express it through violence." And I mean, that's kind of what it is. What she does throughout the episode. I mean, there's a scene where she goes to a bar looking for a fight, and she gets the shit kicked out of her. Well, after kicking the shit out of everyone else, but even at the end, kind of enjoying it. So everyone's kind of going through some crap, and even freaking Diebeard Economos or whatever his name is, he works for Argus under Rick Flag Sr. So he's basically just been in a van outside of Peacemaker's house, which is Peacemaker's dad's house, but he lives there now because his dad died in the end of the first season. Spoiler. So he's the only one with a job, but it's basically just like a pity job. Not even a pity job, kind of like it's like, we'll employ you, but I still know you were somewhat involved in my son's death, so I'm going to keep you on a tight leash and just have you watch Peacemaker for me. So that's kind of what his position is. And Vigilante, he's just back at the same restaurant, but someone else is like the manager now. So that's just hilarious. So he's just back at the restaurant working. And that is a funny thing in superhero movies now. Like Marvel's done it a few like recently, where you save the world and even like the whole galaxy. Okay, well you're not getting a loan. Or just stuff like that, like in Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier's show, when he couldn't get a loan, even though he was part of the Avengers and stopped Thanos. And it's just funny stuff how you can stop an alien invasion. And I mean, I know a lot of it was like under wraps and probably covered up and stuff, but the same energy is there though. Of course, Peacemaker, John Cena, of course, the main attraction. He is still great. I think he's doing a lot more. This first episode compared to the first episode of the first season is a lot slower paced, I'd say, at first, compared to the first one, which I feel like was a lot more upfront. But you get to see a lot more of John Cena's acting skills because he's kind of reliving the trauma, especially with the main plot of this first episode is that he has this like secret pocket dimension basically that his dad had in his house where he goes to work on stuff and whatever, and there's all these like doors. It's like Monsters Inc. in there where you just go through different doors to different people's like houses and dimensions and stuff. So Eagly is like tapping on this one door. He like goes in there and then he sees his dad still alive. And at first in the episode, I was like, I'm not sure like what they're really doing. But then this scene is where it clicks, where he sees his dad. Well, first of all, he sees there's like a bunch of articles about the top 3 or something they're called, and you see like a blue suit dude, and then you see his dad with his suit on, and then you see Peacemaker, of course. So in this universe, Peacemaker, his dad, and his brother Keith, who survives, who's played by Roy from The Office, and so it was just a very interesting dynamic for him, because there's even this scene where he's just sitting in the room and they're just reliving memories, and he can't even speak because he's just in shock by just what he's seeing. He's just seeing a world like what he could have had, if things didn't go, like he was saying in the Justice Gang interview when they weren't listening to him, which was another funny scene. I think a lot of the comedy does work in the show. It was like the first season. There are a lot of jokes that don't land. I think the more subtle ones, like again with the Justice Gang interview where he's like, Maxwell Lord says to Hot Girl, he's like, you're the only one whose handwriting is legible. Just little things like that. I thought it was funny. There are some over the top things like him like airdropping Adebayo a picture of his dick and stuff like that. I was like, it's like some of these jokes. I was like, you could have just ended the scene. You didn't really need that, but again, it's James Gunn. It's Peacemaker. This is the kind of stuff like he's gonna rein it in for Superman and all the main things, but then whenever he gets to do his Peacemaker and stuff, he's just gonna go balls to the wall. Like again, there's a whole orgy scene that's like 5 minutes long, so it's just crazy. Yeah, all around the cast is great. Of course, you have Rick Flag Sr., played by Frank Grillo, and of course he's great. His whole thing is he's basically just waiting for Peacemaker to slip up so he has a reason to take him in. Since Peacemaker has that pocket dimension in his house, it's been given off signals to, like, Argus has been picking the stuff up. And Diebeard manages to look through the window. He sees the door, but he keeps it under wraps so he can investigate himself. That's going to come into play. There might be like a dimension hopping cat and mouse kind of game. I'm curious to see what happens because, again, and then at the end, the Peacemaker from the other universe catches him, and then they fight, and Peacemaker from our DC universe ends up killing him. And so I'm just curious to see if he just assumes Peacemaker's life in the other version, and we see him fighting crime with his brother and his dad and stuff, and Frank Grillo somehow gets involved. And yeah, I think it should make for a crazy season. There's 8 episodes. It's the first one, so you gotta strap in. About 2 months. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes next. So let me know down below. Did you watch the new episode of Peacemaker? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace.